Stadium Saturday. Stadium Saturday.
103.2 Dublin City FM. Stadium Saturday here with Colm Hanley. Joined now by Mark Wilson-Smith. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Like I say, Dublin City FM, the home of Irish boxing.
Exactly.
Always great to be on the show.
That's what we like to hear. Stadium Saturday, the home of
Stadium Saturday. Stadium Saturdays where the real deal. This is where the real action happens, for sure.
You know it.
You know it's true, baby.
From that first loss that I've had, I'm just itching to get back into that ring. That's. So, Mark, you're here. Basically, you were sat in a room with a very famous boxer recently, aside from myself.
Yeah.
Evander Holyfield.
That's right, yeah. I was over in England recently, and over there Evander's doing a promotional tour. He's doing the old after-dinner circuit, you know, talking about his career, doing photos, autographs, things like that. So I went over to England specifically to meet him, you know, mentioned I was with Stadium Saturday. I was able to get like an exclusive interview with him.
Because of us, obviously.
Because of Stadium Saturday. He's a big fan of the show.
Yeah.
He listens to it over in Atlanta every week. And like I say, after the interview, sat next to him. We had dinner for about 3 hours, chatting a lot about his life and career. So it was a really, really great experience.
Okay, we have a clip of the interview, so we'll play that now and then we'll come back and we'll have a chat.
Sure, yeah, let's hear it.
Okay.
Okay. So, Evander, during your career, we saw you appear in a few different movies. You also set up the Real Deal record label. Okay. Now that you've retired, are those things you want to concentrate on, or could we see you perhaps become a manager or maybe even a trainer?
No, I'd probably get in the promotion business, promoting the fight. I think managing be a little too rough, and I think training be a little too rough. I think I'd rather give people an opportunity to reach their goals. I think being a promoter, you have more opportunity, getting people opportunity to reach their goal.
Perfect. Okay. I mean, it's pretty much a year since you retired, and has any?
No, I hadn't retired yet.
Oh, okay, not officially retired. Okay. Well, that's what I was going to ask. Has any promoter or any manager tried to get you back in the ring? Have you had any offers recently?
Well, I get a lot of offers. It's just the fact that if I fight for a championship, then I fight for a championship. But I'm not trying to.
It has to be the right offer.
Yeah. I'm not just fight just to fight. You know, it's.
Sure. Yeah, and the other thing I was going to say is, I mean, I remember after you beat Brian Nielsen, which was your last fight to date, you then went after the Klitschko brothers. You looked for them for about a year. So is there still part of you still wants that Klitschko fight? If you got that and did retire then as champion, would then you be satisfied? Could you then call it a day?
Well, you know, pretty much that's what it. You know, just fight for a championship fight and then retire. And but if it don't happen this year, then I'm gonna go ahead and move on.
Yeah, move on to your promotional activities.
Yes.
Okay. I remember back in 1990, you unified the heavyweight titles. You know, something you got the title, something every boxer wants to do. But does part of you wish that you had won the titles against Tyson? Because I know Buster Douglas sort of got in there first, maybe stole a little bit of your thunder. So do you wish that you had become unified champion against Tyson?
No, I beat Tyson eventually, you know, so it really, you know, I never ever chase individuals. Whoever had the title, that's who I wanted to fight. So I won undisputed from Buster Douglas because he beat Tyson.
Sure.
So, you know, of course, eventually, you know, I fought Tyson in 1997 and I beat him.
Definitely,
yeah. So, you know, I beat 96 and 97. So, you know, so that really behind me.
Yeah, okay. So, Evander, on behalf of all your fans in the Republic of Ireland, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Cheers.
He seems nice enough.
Yeah, he was a friendly guy. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, before the interview happened, I was a little bit worried about interviewing him. Not because I thought I would actually have to fight him, but there's just been like a lot of stories that his kind of speech is a bit slurred and he might be a little bit punch drunk. So I was a bit worried about that. But when I met him, it was a little bit evident. But when he started talking at length, you know, when he started speaking over the meal, it pretty much disappeared completely. You know, he seemed very witty, very sharp, and definitely still with it. You know, so I think any of these stories have been exaggerated just for the tabloids or something. You know.
And one of the questions you asked him there was, did he wish that he won the titles against Tyson? Which, of course, is what anyone that's not really a big boxing fan would always kind of associate Holyfield and Tyson in the one. One thing I'll always be wondering with kind of fighters like that, you know, and we were talking about that with Steve Collins. We were saying it gets under his skin, and that's why he's coming back, and because he just wants to have one last shot of it. Did you kind of get a thought of that he was like, you know, where they start getting agitated and kind of go, yes, this is what. Well,
the thing, I mean, with Holyfield, I mean, like I say, it surprised me a little bit because I thought he had retired, you know, but he says not officially retired, and that's for him. Like I say, for the last year of his career, he didn't actually fight. It was just going after the Klitschko brothers, looking for one last title fight, so that as champion he could then retire. It was his dream to be undisputed champion one last time, win all the belts, and then go out on a high. But like I said, there wasn't really much chance of that happening because the Klitschko brothers have both said they will not fight him. They just think he's too old, and that's not out of respect as well. They don't want to fight him when he's obviously past his prime. And I mean, you heard in the interview, he said if a title fight doesn't happen this year, then he's just going to move on and look at maybe becoming a promoter. And I honestly don't see him getting any title shot this year. I mean, I don't think the Klitschko brothers will be fighting again until 2014. So I would probably say, hopefully we have seen the last of him in the ring. You know, I don't want to see Evander aged 50 going back in against these like big punching heavyweights, you know.
There's always that worry though as well, whereas it's two sides of the story where you would like to kind of see them make a comeback, but on the other side of it, it's like, is it really?
Yeah, if you can guarantee they'd be successful, if he comes back and wins, then it's like a Rocky movie and everyone loves it. This is a great ending to the Holyfield story. But what you don't want him to do is to come back and then get knocked out. I mean, I remember Larry Holmes came back back in the 80s and fought Tyson, and obviously Tyson destroyed him, you know, and you don't want to see all these great names come back and lose. You know, that's not good for their legacy or their health even, you know. Mm-hmm. But like I say, when I was talking to him, it was quite interesting because he told me, obviously Tyson's name's been mentioned a few times, and one of the people at the dinner table actually asked him, so what actually went through your mind when Tyson bit your ear? And Holyfield, it was quite funny, he says, I just wanted to turn around and kick him in the balls. So I hope I can say that on air, okay? I hope that's okay for a Saturday listening, you know. So no, that was quite amusing, you know. And he said that after the fight, he was like really, really furious, you know, as you would be with a chunk of your ear missing. But one of his trainers just told him, look, Holyfield, don't be so angry, you know. You've just earned $35 million for 9 minutes of boxing. You know, so that sort of puts it into perspective, you know, and the trainer said, look, all you have to do is learn to forgive Tyson. That's the only sort of thing you'll carry with you. And Holyfield did forgive Tyson. I mean, they're not friends by any means, but they've met up a lot at public events, different functions, you know, and Tyson's gone on record and apologized. So, you know, so for Holyfield, made a lot of money for 3 rounds of fighting.
Just for a chunk of his ear.
Just for a chunk of his ear. For 35 million, I would be seriously tempted. You could have both my ears for that, you know. Another interesting story Holyfield told me was that he played a game of golf against Tiger Woods. And we all know Holyfield to be this amazing boxer, you know, 4-time heavyweight champion. That's like a record. And then he said he was playing golf with Tiger Woods, and he told me that he only lost by 1 shot to Tiger Woods. And I was, okay, Evander, this is great. You must be a fantastic golfer and boxer. And he says, okay, Mark, I'll tell you the story. And what happened was on the first hole of the golf course, it was a par 3. Tiger Woods got it in 2 shots. Holyfield got it in 3 on par. And then Holyfield turned to Tiger Woods and said, right, I want to call it a day. I want to finish. And Woods is like, are you serious after 1 hole? He says, yeah, I want to stop so that I can tell everyone I only lost by 1 stroke to Tiger Woods. And at that, the 2 of them walked off the course. So yeah, he did lose by a narrow margin, but it was just 1 hole, you know. But I mean, that shows he was quite funny, you know. He had a lot of funny stories like this to tell over dinner, and yeah, it was great company, you know.
Sometimes people like that though as well, they can be quite intimidating because, you know, their whole thing is they're fighters, that's what they're known as. So, you know, was there that kind of thing beforehand of interviewing?
To be honest, with Holyfield, no. I mean, I can certainly understand where you're coming from. You know, if you're going into a room to meet the former heavyweight champion of the world, you're going to ask him questions about his life and his career. Yeah, you could be intimidated. But Holyfield always had this reputation of being like the good guy. You know, he's like a family man. very religious, sort of down-to-earth guy. So I always sort of knew that he would be a sort of friendly guy to interview. I wasn't expecting him to try and be awkward or have this sort of persona of, like, you know, the intimidating boxer, you know. So it was very friendly, very open, you know. We've got a lot of photos together. Let's say chatted away over the meal and stuff. And yeah, it was great, you know, good guy to interview.
And did you put the question to him then that he's ready to fight me?
That's the deal I'm working on behind the scenes.
Okay.
I mean, you told me your white collar boxing's been postponed until next year.
It's been postponed.
Yeah,
to get Holyfield in.
That's because Holyfield says he needs more time to get ready.
That's all right.
You know, I was like,
cool.
come over to Dublin and face Colm, and he was like, okay, I need a little bit of preparation for this. So hopefully,
That's cool.
in the new year we can get you and Holyfield, maybe at the O2 or maybe Croke Park. Let's fill the place. You know,
We'll see. Yeah, we'll start small.
one step at a time. We'll see how it goes. You know.
Another boxing news then as well. Matthew Macklin looks like he's getting back into the ring shortly.
Yeah, I mean, Matthew Macklin's promoter, Ludi Bella, has recently announced Macklin will be back either in November or December. They're still working on the dates, but the opponent's been confirmed. That's Willie Nelson. But isn't he a country singer? Yeah. I mean, this is going to be a great fight if Willie Nelson turns up with a guitar, you know, and the grey beard. But the real opponent he's facing is Willie Nelson, the light middleweight, who's got a decent record, 21 wins, 1 draw, 1 defeat. And he's going to be younger than Macklin. He's only 26, and he's taller than Macklin, 6'3". But he doesn't have the experience that Macklin has. You know, he doesn't have the big names on the CV. So I do expect this to sort of be a stepping stone for Macklin to then move on to a 4th world title fight. I mean, he's had 3 shots at the title. Unfortunately, he's been unlucky on those 3 occasions. First time was against Felix Sturm, where a lot of people think he won that fight, but was maybe robbed by the judges. So he lost that on points, but I mean, I would say he should have won that. Next up was against the sort of middleweight legend, the sort of living legend, Sergio Martinez, and he did exceptionally well in that fight. Even knocked Martinez down, was doing really well, but unfortunately he got stopped in the 11th round. And then last time out, his 3rd shot at the title was against Gennady Golovkin, where he got knocked out in the 3rd round. So he's had 3 unsuccessful chances. He wants to come back on the championship trail, maybe win it 4th time. And obviously beating Willie Nelson, either the singer or the light middleweight, will be a step in the right direction. Interestingly, he's actually split with his trainer, Buddy McGirt. Some of the listeners might know Buddy McGirt as Paulie Malignaggi's trainer, or ex-trainer. He split with him. I think the reason for that is because he had the 2 losses while McGirt was his trainer, against Martinez and against Golovkin. And I think for a boxer, after they've had 1 or 2 defeats, they do often change the trainer, because that's a confidence thing. You know, they don't want to think, okay, I'm not good enough at this level. You know, it's okay, the trainer didn't give me the right preparation, he's to blame. They need a little bit of that for their own confidence. And plus, Macklin's gone on record saying for the Gennady Golovkin fight, he feels that the strategy was wrong. You know, the sort of plan that Buddy McGirt had for him wasn't the right one for that type of strong, hard-punching boxer. So he's a little bit upset with that, and he's made the change. He feels this will be good for his career. And he's gone back to his old trainer, Joe Gallagher, in Manchester. So Macklin's up sticks in the USA. He will now be based in Manchester. And he has a good relationship with Joe Gallagher. That was his trainer when he won the British title, when he won the European title, and when he almost beat Felix Sturm for the world title. So there's a good reputation, and they've had success together. And I think that's maybe good for Macklin's confidence. You know, go back to a trainer that's delivered the results, build him up a bit again, get this fight out of the way, and then next year maybe look for another world title shot against Darren Barker for the IBF middleweight title. That could happen next summer, provided Barker wins his title defense, and obviously provided Macklin wins his fight. That could be something for next summer.
Does he have it in him to win it, like 3 times?
Well, I'd say if he does fight Barker, it would be a close fight, very close fight, but I might edge Barker on that one, just because I think Barker is perhaps a more skillful boxer. But it'd be very close. It'd be a great fight to watch, and it would have a chance. It's not one-sided by any means, but I might just tip Barker for that. But that's assuming that happens. I mean, there's other champions out there. There's other ways to the title. We'll see what happens, and anything can happen in boxing. I mean, Barker could lose his title. Someone else could become champion. You don't know what's going to happen. So, I mean, he's a good boxer. He's definitely got the skills. He showed that against Felix Sturm, showed that against Martinez. If he gets the right preparation, the right opponent at 31, yeah, he's definitely still got a chance of it happening.
And then in Vegas tonight as well, big fight. It's Timothy Bradley against Jose Manuel Marquez.
Juan Manuel Marquez. Okay, no, you're just testing. You're just testing. I was still listening. Yeah, testing my boxing knowledge there. Over in Vegas tonight, we've got Timothy Bradley defending his WBO welterweight title against Juan Manuel Marquez. Now, both of these boxers are probably best known in Ireland for the fact that they both beat Manny Pacquiao. They both beat the Pac-Man. Timothy Bradley by a controversial points decision, and Juan Manuel Marquez by a devastating knockout punch. Okay, but at the end of the day, they both beat Pac-Man, and they were both offered serious money to get back in the ring with him. They would have made phenomenal money to fight Pacquiao again, and both of them refused. For Marquez, he refused because he's fought Pacquiao 4 times already and doesn't really fancy a 5th fight. And also, he feels he won the 4 fights with Manny Pacquiao. 2 went to Pacquiao, 1 was a draw, and 1 to Marquez. But he says, no, the judges got it wrong. In his mind, he says, I won all 4. I've proved myself, I don't have to fight him 5 times. The other reason Marquez wanted to avoid Pacquiao and fight Bradley is if he beats Bradley tonight for the WBO title, Marquez will become a world champion in 5 different weight categories, and that will put him in a very elite group of boxers, winning 5 titles, 5 different weights. So that's his motivation for Bradley rather than Pacquiao. Bradley, on the other hand, he feels he wants to fight Juan Manuel Marquez before Marquez calls it a day. I mean, he's 40 years old, Marquez, and he's not going to be in the ring too much longer. So Bradley wants this opportunity, get that big name on the CV before Marquez retires. And then he says, look, I can fight Pacquiao some other day. That fight can wait. That will be there in the future. But
he's only 30, isn't he?
Bradley, yeah, he's around 30, 31 or something. He's got time on his side, so get Marquez when you can, and then go for Pacquiao later. And the big payday will still be waiting for him. If I had to call that fight, I'm not a betting man, but if I had to call that one, I'd maybe say Juan Manuel Marquez on points. It's going to be close, it's going to be exciting, and assuming Marquez hasn't aged overnight, I mean, he's 40 years old, and sometimes that can catch up with a boxer, but assuming he's still performing at the level he has been recently, he's still displaying the same skills, then yeah, I'd fancy him to take this on points. But it'll be a good fight. So if you're interested, guys, watch that one on TV tonight.
Okay, and finally, any word from our good friend Steve Collins? How's his preparations going? Is he...
No further news on the Roy Jones fight, unfortunately. It's gone a little bit quiet. And as Steve Collins himself said, he really wants it to happen this year because his license is only for 1 year. If it doesn't happen this year, he's going to have to reapply for the license next year. So it's still gone a little bit quiet. No new news to report on that. But Steve himself's been busy, obviously filming the movie The Street. And I think filming for that started in September over in Galway. So he's been busy with his sort of film career. But at the moment, no news yet on the Roy Jones fight. But I'll certainly keep you posted if anything comes up.
Because he's in my corner.
Yeah, I mean, he's your trainer when you're fighting Evander Holyfield. Yeah, so you want him in good shape, definitely.
Him and Tyson.
Magic.
Mark, thank you very much as always for coming to us. Next time you're around, and next big boxing superstar as well. We look forward
like I say, always a pleasure, never a chore.
Mark, thank you very much.
Good stuff.
Stadium Saturday here, 103.2 Dublin City FM. We're live from Lafayette Cafe Bar.
Stadium Saturday. Stadium Saturday. Stadium Saturday.